see will be coming up on our driver's side, and they're going to be some of our birds of prey.
Huh.
The first guys we'll see are going to be 3 ravens. In the first flight cage, there are 2 whose names are Alice and Poe. And in the second flight cage, there is a single one whose name is Lenny.
Allan Poe.
All 3 of these ravens, they were named after Edgar Allan Poe and his poem, The Raven. With them, they did all break the equivalent to their collarbones.
Ooh.
Now, bird bones, they aren't entirely hollow, so they are a lot more fragile than what human bones are, and do tend to break a little bit more easily. As we pull up here in the next flight cage, there is a Harris hawk on the left-hand side, whose name is Wags. Wags, he used to be an education bird, which means he was handled by different trainers to be shown off to the public. But it was found very early on in his career, he has a very high stress level. So they decided it was best to retire him from that program fairly early on in his life.
Yeah, that thing is not going to survive out in the wild for sure.
As we pull past this house here, you'll probably hear them better than we can see them. We do have 2 African gray parrots whose names are Shadow and Bella. Bella.
She has to take it quickly.
Woo!
You're okay.
I'm having a great time here.
As we get to the top of our hill here, if you guys would look over on our passenger side, you will see our llama, Snickers.
Snickers, what?
Snickers here, he was originally privately owned. He lived with a family that
Snickers.
did decide they could no longer properly take care of him, so they ended up bringing him here to us. Now, Snickers, he is definitely a character. His favorite thing to do is when he sees large groups of school children walking around the park, he tries to spit on all the children. A little bit of a warning about Snickers here.
You didn't want to get spit or any chance, did you, Crystal?
On our driver's side, if you look up on top of this platform that I'm going to pull forward to,
Ooh.
we do have 1 female Bengal tiger whose name is Eva.
She looks hot.
Eva does live with another tiger whose name is Juanita. Eva and Juanita, these 2 girls, they've only been here with us for about 6 months at this point. They are the newest residents here to our park. And they were originally at a facility in Florida. Now that facility
You have a good time, Judy?
Shut down. And they did end up getting
I have a good time.
Animals sent here to us so that way they would have some place to live out their lives. Over on our passenger side, we do have 4 alpacas. The one right up against the fence, that is Lakota.
That's a fence.
Ooh, Lakota.
Now the other 3, they're most likely up towards the house because that is where they little while. These are Maui, Footloose, and Koha. So here's a few more of them right up here up against the barn. Looks like all 3 of them are over here.
Aww.
They're sleepy.
Now if we take a moment to look over on our driver's
Woo,
side,
so like a farm.
you will see the first of our big cats getting fed this evening.
Ooh. Oh.
So this cat here, his name is Brutus.
Brutus.
This is the
That's a
second
good name.
biggest cat here at our park. He weighs around 550 pounds.
That could
And we
beat
do
me
believe
3
he
times.
is part Siberian tiger.
Ooh.
So that is why he would be a little bit bigger than the other guys we will see here throughout our park. 12 years old, and he's getting fed 10 pounds of chicken today.
Oh
Now,
my.
if we listen closely, they do actually eat their food, bone and all. So with a lot of these cats, you can actually hear them crunching through the bones of those treats. Now, he will probably eat that entire 10 pounds of meat within 5 minutes time. And that is because they do have very sharp teeth that they use to kind of crunch through those bones. And then their tongues, if you've ever been licked by a house cat, and it has kind of that sandpaper texture to it, that's what these guys' tongues feel like as well, because they have backwards barbs on them that they actually use to lick the meat in order to just shred it into pieces, so that way they don't actually have to waste the energy chewing through the meat. Bam and Abby. Bam and Abby, they were somebody's pets. They decided they could no longer properly take care of them, so they ended up bringing them here to us.
Aw. Woo!
As we pull up here, continue to look on our passenger side. And we're going to see two tigers over here get fed. The one in the first habitat, his name is Ruckus. And living next door to Ruckus is his brother, Apollo. So it looks like Ruckus is walking along the fence here. We are going to pull forward to Apollo, though, because he does something that's pretty cute that people normally like to be able to see.
That's a beautiful pond.
Oh, he got his ball.
Does he?
So I do have to go and help feed these two tigers, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about them once I get back.
They're a little bigger than Jonesy, maybe.
Sorry, Mommy.
Don't be sorry.
Oh, piece of raw meat.
Ham. What is that ham? These are the tigers. This is ham. The ham.
Oh, listen to him.
Months old. They are now 16 years old, so they have been here for most of their lives. These two tigers, they did come to us from Texas, where they were originally a part of the photo opportunity industry. So what that means is as babies, they're actually handed off to the public for the public to hold them and take pictures holding those tigers. But the thing about
Yeah, sorry I'm pausing out the facts, by the way, guys.
Now, as we circle around here, we will be looking over on our passenger side,
This way.
and you're going to see what looks like 3 little puppies.
Other way.
But these guys, they are our new guinea singing dogs, and their names are Lucy, Desi, and Junior. So the two up on the platform, those are our 2 boys, Desi and Junior. Lucy is kind of off in the back corner because she is a little bit more shy. Now
Aww.
with these new guinea singing dogs, they are the closest living relative to the Australian dingo. And they are the rarest breed of wild dog. There's only about 200 of them left in the entire world.
Wow.
So around here, we are going to try to find some of our bears. We have a total of 9 bears that call Keepers of the Wild their home. We have 8 black bears and 1 grizzly bear. We will be most likely to see some of our black bears because they are more awake than our grizzly bear. If you look over on the passenger side, there is one laying on this log here. We'll circle around to the other side of his habitat to get a little better look of him over there.
Darn it.
Now, our black bears. Now, Bucky, he does live with his brother, Brock, and then their mother, Cindy. But Cindy, she is very grumpy in her old age. She is 23 years old, and she wants nothing to do with her 2 sons at this point. She basically tells us, nope, they're too old, I don't want them, they can handle themselves, they drive their mother nuts, therefore I will not be taking care of them. But luckily the boys have learned how to be very self-sufficient.
I can't see
It does
them.
look like Cindy does have her head sticking out of the den box here. So that is our 23-year-old mama bear. Now she does have to be separated from her boys.
Oh, wait, now I see
Whenever
them.
she does see her 2 sons, she tends to beat up on them. So we've decided that it's best for Cindy to just kind of remain
That's
separate from her sons. Does look like there is another bear with his head sticking out of the den box. That is Kenai. Kenai, he is the only wild bear here at our park. He was found orphaned here in Arizona.
Yeah.
Game and Fish did end up bringing him here to us to try to introduce him to our female bear, Cindy. But Cindy, she basically told us, no, I don't even like my, I think I would take in another boy. But luckily for Kenai, the boys did take quite a liking for him, and they agreed to bring him in as one of their brothers. Getty, it is home to 7 deer and 7 emu. All of our emu, they did originally come to us from Golden
white
Valley,
deer.
Arizona, where a guy was running a business where he had these emu, but he decided he didn't want the emu anymore. opened up the gates, let them run free into the desert of Golden Valley. These birds did not know how to take care of themselves, so Game and Fish did have to go and rescue them. Now, I'm sure that was quite difficult because emu can run upwards towards 35 miles per hour, and they are the largest land bird, only ostrich.
See the deer?
As we pull up here, if you continue to look over on our driver's side, towards the very back of the habitat there, they're kind of laying on the other side of the fence, we have two javelinas, also known as collared peccary. Javelinas are native wildlife here to the state of Arizona, which does mean they are illegal to own as pets. Two different guys actually picked these girls up out of the desert and tried to take them home as pets. Game and Fish did find out, ended up confiscating these girls away from those owners, and those guys did end up with a couple $1,000 fine for trying to take these animals home. Very rare and beautiful tiger.
Golden tiger.
This here is our golden tiger, and her name is Lisa Marie. Lisa Marie, she is another one of the 7 Tiger King cats that came here to our park in May of 2021. Now, the reason Lisa Marie has this orange on orange coloration instead of the orange on black coloration is because she got double recessive genes from her parents. Rare in tigers. It's actually been found there's only 30 golden tigers left in the entire world at this point. And all 30 of them are in captivity at this point. Now, with Lisa Marie, she is only 6 years old, so she is still fairly young, but this is about as big as she will get. Golden tigers, they tend to top off at about 300 to 350 pounds, whereas a regular Bengal tiger would top off at nearly 400 to 450 pounds. Jeff Lowe's pet, she's in one of the episodes of Tiger King, so he named her.
Yeah,
But
I see you
some
there,
of the
buddy.
cats, if they don't have names, will actually put a post up on Facebook and let the public choose a name for our
They're
animals.
walking around, baby. It's okay.
Still eating. There you go, girl.
Hear those bones crunching?
Yeah. That's a pretty strong jaw. Like a hyena.
Beautiful.
Oh, yes. Most beautiful breed.
Now, as we pull up here, I'm going to have you guys switch to look over on our passenger side. And we're going to see a very feisty tiger whose name is Natasha.
Oh, no.
So Natasha over here, she is not a fan of people watching her eat. So whenever she gets her food, she tends to jump up on the fence, get very, very grouchy and very loud. She does tend to growl, roar at us because she thinks someone's going to steal that turkey away from her. So we'll hang out with her for a little bit, but we
that's
don't
Natasha.
sit around too long after she gets her food, so she does get a little bit feisty. Natasha is the third of the tigers that did come to us from that Florida facility with Eva and Juanita. Now,
sweet
Natasha
Natasha.
here, she has just now started getting comfortable with coming down to her feed tube. For the first couple months she was here, she wouldn't even leave her den box because she didn't like the other tigers next door. But luckily she is now starting to come down to her feed tube, walk around a little bit, and will eat her food here. She's just a little unsure
Hey,
about people
baby.
watching her quite
Oh, look.
Ooh.
Oh, shoot.
That's your food, baby.
Oh.
Chickens did not eat until we pull away. We'll pull away from her, so she'll go ahead and eat her food.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Over on our driver's side, we do have another very vocal cat over here. Her name is Maddie. Maddie's gonna go yell at her next door neighbor, then she'll come back to get her food. She has to go make sure the lion next door knows she's in charge and he's not.
That sounds familiar.
Oof.
Maddie here is 5 years old, so she is another one of our younger cats here. And she is very friendly unless it comes to other cats. She's not really a fan of other cats, but she does love people.
Aw.
With Maddie here, if we look at the stripes of a tiger, they actually go all the way down to the skin as well. They don't just sit on the surface of the fur. Also, tigers, they do all have unique stripe patterns. No two tigers will ever have the exact same stripes. It has been compared to the human fingerprint in that nature. Now, also with tigers, they actually have webbed toes on those big old paws of theirs, and they can actually swim for upwards towards 18 miles a day.
Ooh.
Now, with tigers, they cannot purr because they have the vocal cords to roar instead. Cats can only do one of those two things. If they roar, they can't purr, and if they purr, they are unable to roar. So we pull up here, the next cat we're going to see fed will be over on our driver's side as well. It's going to be our African lion, whose name is Rico Suave.
Rico Suave?
A lion.
He's young.
Waiting too. Look at him.
Now,
Simba.
Rico here, he is only 6 years old, and he has not grown his full big bushy mane quite yet.
Listen.
Now, the mane of a lion, it is actually equivalent to their testosterone level. So the more of that testosterone hormone they have, the more big and dark those manes do become. Lions, they are very territorial over their food, so sometimes Rico here gets a little vocal as well.
That's safe for a
He'll
meal,
jump
is
on
it?
the fence sometimes.
I say for a meal?
We'll see what he does here today.
Ooh.
Now, Rico here, he for some reason thinks that everybody likes raw turkey just as much as he does, and that someone's going to try to steal it from him. No matter how many times we tell him that's his, no one's going to take it, we don't want it back, he still gets very protective over it. And that is because male lions out in the wild, they are the ones that do protect the pride land from any other male that tries to encroach on that territory. Other than that, it's actually been found male lions sleep to about 22 hours a day out in the wild. That is
Ooh.
because the females actually go out and do the hunting, they take care of the children, so the males don't really have all that much responsibility out in the wild. Rico here has decided even in captivity he's going to sleep 22 hours a day. This is about the only time we ever see Rico up and moving, other than all the way in the back of his habitat where no one can see him, taking a good old cat nap up on his platforms. Actually choose the males with the darkest manes of them all. So they tend to choose the older males. That's because they do think those ones have more experience, can give them better offspring, and that their offspring are more likely to be the king of that pride land. So with Rico here, he would actually be one of the last choices a female would choose out in the wild, because he still has that very light mane. So we always like to say, in the lion world, it seems the older guys are the ones getting all the ladies. Next animal we are going to talk about is also over here on our driver's side. Her name is Daisy.
A
Daisy
cougar?
is our African
Oh, no.
spotted leopard,
It's a leopard.
and she is actually 20 years old.
Wow.
Now, leopards, they are actually considered large cats. That's not because of their body size, though. That's because of those vocal cords. Any cat that is considered a large cat, they have the vocal cords to roar. They cannot purr. So there are actually only 4 types of cats that can roar. That is the lion, the tiger, the leopard, and the jaguar. All other cats, they have the vocal cords to purr, so they are considered small cats instead. Leopards, they can actually run upwards towards 45 miles per hour, and they can climb 12 feet straight up without a problem in the world. Daisy here, being on the older side, I don't even think she realizes she can climb, so she just tends to kind of hang out on the ground most of the time. That is because she has been in captivity her entire life. So she was originally at a facility in South Dakota that did shut down, and they ended up having to rehome all of their cats.
Free time.
Daisy here, when she was brought to us, she was very, very chunky, and we actually had to put her on a diet. The next cats we will see fed are over here on our passenger side. Their names are Moses, Malachi, and Millie. His Malachi and Millie are supposed to share this closest tube, but sometimes Malachi likes to be a little bit of a brat and won't move so his sister can get fed, so we may have to feed Millie inside if Malachi will not get out of the way.
Growing.
Yep, they're saying they're hungry.
Come on, Mom.
Oh.
Kat, take your turkey and move.
No.
Come on, man. The one right up against the fence, that is Victor. The one walking the opposite way is William. William and Victor are two brother cats that actually came to us from Nebraska. They were at a roadside zoo that did decide to shut down, fire all their staff, but they left these two tigers behind with no one to take care of them.
Oh.
Victor, leave your brother's turkey alone. So her food. Chuffer, she is only 5 years old, so she's usually overplaying with her next door
Oh, my.
neighbors. She's trying to make them her best friends. Here she comes. Now, Chuffer, she is also one of the most social tigers I have ever met in my life. She loves to run around, gets very excited when it comes to feeding time, and she also tries to get every cat around her to be her best friend. Even the next door neighbor, who we'll meet in just a moment here, who's a big old jerk
That
who
one?
doesn't like anyone, Chuffer tries to be his best friend. Whenever Hercules, who is the next door neighbor, growls at her, she'll actually just fall over and start rolling around on her back, basically telling him, hey, look at me, I'm super cute, so therefore you can't possibly be mad at me. Chuffer, she is also one that does really like to run around full board when it comes to her food. The funny thing about her is she does think she's the best hunter in the entire world. Whenever she does get turkey, she'll actually pick that turkey up and she shakes it around until it dies. And then she drops it on the ground. She'll pick it back up, but then if it touches her in the face, she drops it and gets scared of it. She says, why did my food touch me? It's supposed to be dead. And then she has to go about it all again to be sure that turkey is actually dead. With Chuffers
That's
here,
cute.
she did get her name from that chuffing noise that I was telling you guys about. She makes that noise at least 20 times in an hour. Hercules, he's a big old bully. He cannot get along with anyone. He's actually
Damn.
been put in
Wait,
8
dang.
different habitats in the last 7 years. We had him living with his two
Wow.
brothers, Ruckus and Apollo. He decided he was going to fight his two brothers. We moved him next to the bears. He decided he was going to fight the bears. Moved him next to the lion. Turns out lions are very scary. He wouldn't come out of his den box when the lion was around. Even to get his food, he'd run out, grab his food, and then immediately go back to hiding in the den box. We moved him next to... So Shere Khan's over here in his den area. Shere Khan, we do believe he weighs around 650 pounds. And we
That's
do also
crazy.
believe he is not a full-bred tiger. He's being watched. For now, we are
Oh
going to
my.
head in to see
He
the
is
biggest
big.
animal of all here at our park. He's going to be over on our driver's
What did I
side.
say?
And it is our Bactrian camel, whose name is Hoover. He's laying towards the back of his habitat here. Now, Hoover is a Bactrian camel because he has two...
See the camel around. Oh, he was up walking around earlier. He was hungry.
So like
As
farm
we do
review.
pull forward here, we're going to be entering Coyote Alley. We will talk about these coyotes and bobcats on our way back through, because we do have one more animal we have to get up to be able to feed. So the next animal we are going to stop and talk about and see fed is our tundra wolf. She's going to be over on our passenger side, and her name is Unita.
A wolf.
She tends to hang out towards the very top of her habitat. So we're going to pull up to where we feed her, because she tends to kind of walk across the entire habitat.
There she is. Look at her. She's gorgeous.
Right. Now I can't see her.
Now, Unita here, she is one of 5 wolves that we had here at our park. And they were all originally owned by a wildlife biologist in California that had this wolf pack in order to study wolf behavior. Now, with owning these wolves, he did have to travel for his job. So he did leave his wolf pack in the care of one of his friends. He got a phone call very shortly after he left, though, saying, "I need you to hurry home. There's fire coming directly towards your house." So living in California, there are a lot of wildfires that happen in that area, and his home was right in the middle of the Butte wildfire that happened in 2018. He did try to rush back to his home, but was told by the fire department, "Stephanie, she's behind you."
What?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh, she's beautiful.
Finally get back to his home after nearly 4 days. He did not expect to find his wolves, but he actually found all 5 wolves were perfectly fine. Now, we did have all 5 wolves
What are you
for
doing
a
here, you
while.
lemur?
But the thing about that is she was the youngest
doing?
wolf at the time. She is now 14 years old. So she is on the older side of a wolf. She's sitting down on the ground here. We do have our ring-tailed lemur, whose name is Precious. We will circle around the other side of her habitat, so we will be able to see her a little bit better along the other side of their habitat. The one up on the fire hose, that is Lola. The one down on the ground sitting on the rocks is Max. Lola, she is actually 34 years old,
Oh, wow.
and she was somebody's pet. Now, the thing about having a monkey as a pet is they do choose one person to be their mate. Lola fell madly in love with the boyfriend of the woman that she lived with, got jealous when the woman approached, ran over to the woman, grabbed a hold of her ear, almost ripped it entirely off her head.
Oof.
The woman did have to go to the hospital to get that ear reattached, and then she did decide after that that she should not keep Lola as a pet.
No.
Max, the one running around at the moment, he's actually a very smart monkey. He actually knows a couple words in sign language that his last owner did teach him. You may notice they have a lot of children's toys throughout their habitat, and that is because they have been found to be equivalent to a 3 to 5-year-old child. Now, Roscoe is our white-faced capuchin here. And Roscoe has been a little bit of a troublemaker today, so you're going to notice I'm going to keep a close eye on him. Earlier, I was walking around with a bunch of 3rd graders that came for a tour. He decided he was going to throw rocks at those 3rd graders. No matter what temperature it is, whether it's 30 degrees or 110 degrees, Carlos always has his blanket with him. That is because Carlos does have a very high stress level, and whenever he gets worked up, he'll pull that blanket entirely over his body so you can't see a single inch of him. So that is his comfort mechanism. So we just try to be sure he is able to have it when need be. There is another Bone macaque up in the far corner. Continue to look over on our driver's side now, and you'll get a little bit better. Hi, Roscoe.
The ring-tailed lemur.
So ring-tailed lemurs, they do originally come from Madagascar out in the wild. And they do actually live matriarchal societies, which means the females are the ones that are in charge. Wolf is down here getting to her food now.
Look at her. She's so pretty.
Yeah.
If we look over on our passenger side for a moment, there is a bobcat up on top of the dead box here. Her name is Dina. Dina, she is only 3.5 years old, so she is a very young bobcat, and she was actually somebody's pet. So they lived in a state where it was legal to own a bobcat, but then they moved here to Arizona where it's illegal to own a bobcat. So they ended up passing her off here to us to avoid getting into any kind of trouble for owning her. They're tree-dwelling creatures.
Quadamundis.
So quadamundis, they do have noses, so they can actually rotate in 65 degrees in any direction. And that helps them be able to catch any kind of insects or different prey items they would try to eat out in the wild. Our two boys, their names are Archibald and Sebastian. Archibald is the one that has more of a red coloration to his coat. Sebastian's the one that is more of a dark black coloration to him. Now with quadamundis, they actually have
Judy.
ankles that they can convene in people's homes. And they did end up going and confiscating them, and then did charge those people a couple $1,000 fine for having them in their homes.
And to think,
Now over
they're
on our driver's
just like
side, we
cats.
do have one of our coyotes right up against the fence here. That is Jacob. Jacob, he was originally a wild coyote that ended up getting struck by a vehicle. Down on the lower platform, Desi and Junior. Now we do pull around 250 pounds of meat to feed all the carnivores here at our park. Some things about all these animals. Once again, my name is Savannah, and I hope you had a great time here at Keepers of the Wild.
Yeah. Okay. That's it, Judy. And that's it, folks. That was the Keepers of the Wild and all of its animals for this year. And whether it's you're on Facebook or on YouTube, I hope to see you again on another video. Peace out.